Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Film Hackers Talk Show, where we get to discuss a few issues that are hindering the industry. Today, we'll be discussing the pros and cons of the music business, music video business in the industry. And on the panel today, we have the legendary faces of the people who have worked so hard to put a face on the music industry business. And today on the panel, before we go to showcase the people that we have today, let's take a break and see the profiles of what these people have done so that you can get to know who they are.
I'm called Ian Akankwasa, aka Sasha Vibes. I'm a filmmaker. When I was starting this, to me, it was never about the money, really. It's all about the passion. It's all about the art, protecting the art, and seeing that the film industry and the music video industry goes on. So to me, I wake up every morning able to create and ready to create because I feel like that's what I really love to do. Like 4 or 5 years ago, we literally had no equipment. It was so tough to tell most of these stories because now we have drone shots. There never used to be drones in Uganda. Drones now are something that is not allowed, that is being banned in the country. So you can't be seen shooting with drones. So I mean that kind of takes us backwards in the game. There's too much piracy going on in the industry. So I'm speaking on the side of filmmakers. If you make a movie and you're expecting to make money of doing shows or CDs and stuff, and then you find a movie has already been pirated. So I think that has also been kind of a big setback in the industry. We need the government to be involved in this whole thing because at the end of the day, if we're not being given a hand, we're not going to come up. It is actually a very wide industry because there's so many things involved. I mean, you have producers, you have location managers, you have script writers, you have DOPs, you have makeup artists, you have people who have gaffers, you have spark. Like it's a big industry that most people actually don't even know. There's so many opportunities that are there that actually can save people from the unemployment. So definitely changes everything. We need to tell our stories the African way. So if it is getting the whole support that we need, it has to be from you guys. Me, what I tell the young guys, those who are trying to come up, is that follow what you love and do what you love. And at the end of the day, you will definitely achieve greatly.
My name is Alex Ireta, and I'm a cinematographer, or you may call it director of photography. I've worked on several projects, ranging from feature films, short films, TV commercials, music videos, documentaries. I look up to the people who are in this before me because they have inspired me and they have trained me a lot of things. I've got to learn a lot of things from people who are already in the industry. We have names like Donald Mugisha. I've worked with him for so many years. And there are several other people in the industry. We have directors like Matt Bish. We have a number of challenges that I've come across in this industry, ranging from limited resources, where you have to improvise and work with what is available. want to be a good cinematographer, you have to be patient. It's something you grow into over a period of time. For us who are already in the industry, if we can focus on training more people, training more youths, training more people who are looking for what to do, and showing them that there's light at the end of the tunnel, then that way we shall be able to develop our industry and to help with employing so many who are not employed.
I'm calling him, he's not picking up. No, he takwata. Ne Alex in takwata. You have Alex's number? Boss, Ulida, we cannot begin the conversation. Where will those guys come?
By the names of Sechans Mohammed, aka Medina's, Director of Mirage Concepts, Stroke Director of Men's Media. What inspired me to join the film industry? Personally, I've been an artist since I was a kid, and I loved a lot of drawing, painting, what. So when I grew up, I realized that this whole idea of painting using hands, drawing using pencils, all this. I worked on ice cream. I worked on Bebe Cool's Nkola Vyafayo. I worked on Ndwala Jogenda, then Lesu by Good Life. I worked on Gimme More by Grace Nachimera. Back in the days, I was the DOP of Where You Are. This was a project we did with Bashir, and in that particular project, we used my jib, a jib that I handmade. It was probably the first jib in Uganda. That's why we see such aerial shots. Some of my achievements in this industry, Actually, the biggest is networking. I've managed to mentor a couple of new kids on the block. I've managed to travel, because traveling is also another great aspect of life. You know, when you move around, you get to learn new things, you get to meet new people. I mean, it opens up your way of thinking. Some of the challenges in the film industry are equipment is a very big challenge in this industry, because every day something new comes up, and every day what you have is getting outdated. You can't afford to buy every new camera that comes on. The other challenge is market for the productions. People put in a lot of money to make these productions. By the end of the day, when they take their products for sale, the market is not there. There's no ready market. What I think our government should do to grow our industry is, one, to limit the foreign content that comes in or that plays on our TV stations. They should tax the TV stations highly for the foreign content played. If they tax them highly, that will create room for our local content to play. Because, I mean, all these TV stations are running business. So if they realize that playing that, you're losing out money, and if you play this, you can make a little profit, they'll resort to playing local content. My advice to the creatives in the industry is that, one, respect each other. We also need to learn how to collaborate. We need to think out of the box. Then my advice to the aspiring filmmakers, push hard, because film is about resilience, persistence, and you have to be aware that you're going to meet hurdles. It's not something smooth. People may look out to those who have made it and adore them, but
Welcome to the show. My name is Rada Shafiq. I'm here to sit in for Brian Mlondo, who has got some engagements out there. And I'm really happy to be here with these people that have really worked so hard and put a face to the industry. And back in the days, Ugandan artists used to go to South Africa to do music videos. But ever since then, these guys have put a face to the industry and have stepped up their games, and they've made an industry a better place to be. With me here, I have one of the amazing cinematographers on the panel. Let's start with you, Jude. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Nyanja Jude, or Saint Jude Nyanja, and I work with Rosa Uganda.
And on the other hand, we have Mehdi Mez from Mirage Concept, one of the directors in this country. Please introduce yourself.
I'm officially called Sechanzi Mohammed. Mehdi Mez is the business name, working under Mirage Concepts. Mirage Concepts is the company. I'm proud to be here.
So let's start with you, Mehdi Mez. Where did you get the idea of venturing into the business of music videos?
Actually, my story is very interesting because back in the days, we had a group. You know, after school, we formed a group, me and my colleagues. We formed a group called VIP. So we used to do some recording. We went to Fenon, recorded some music. Then we wanted to make a music video. After my university, I had interest in art, because I used to do art throughout my childhood. So I I decided, something came up my mind. I was like, we want to make a video, and this guy who's supposed to make us a video is stressing us because it was very expensive back in the days. It was, I mean, it was high tech. Thinking about a music video was high tech back in the days. And on the market, there was this gentleman called Dedak, because he was the in-house name by then. So I approached Dedak, I told him about the video, so he gave me conditions. So given the situation that we had money challenges and what, and I had a background of art in me, I was like, what this guy is doing, I'm sure I can do it. Yeah? So Dedak was my inspiration. I had an opportunity to move to some of his sets when he was filming, and I took part. I used to take part in being a gaffer, rolling wires and what, because I had the interest. So later on,
Dedak is Donald Mugisha?
That is Donald Mugisha, Dedak.
Dedak.
Yes. So after getting the field experience, at least I used to look and see what he's doing. So I went back and told my boys that, you guys, I'm sure I can make a video for our song. Instead of spending money, I can make a video for our song. You know, they used to believe in me because I was very crafty. They said, okay, let's give it a shot. I had a friend of mine who had a small CCD camera, 3CCD camera. By then, 3CCD was the in thing. So I borrowed the camera. Then we went and worked out something. We produced a song, and I produced a video. In some shots, we used to use a tripod. You put a camera on the tripod, then you direct your colleagues, tell them, stand here, me, I'll come and join in here. So that's how we made our first video. All the shots were almost steady because I had to take part in the video. So I made the video, and we released the song. The song went, it played on East African top 20. Is it top 20 by then?
Yeah, that's Channel 5.
Channel
back
5.
In the days,
So it gave me a big platform. So very many artists were like, who made that video? Because it looked Ugandan, and they didn't know the person who had made it. So that was like the beginning. It was the genesis of my career. Yeah.
Thank you so much. For those of you who are watching from home, please tune in to Net Studio YouTube channel, and also tune in to Film Hackers UG on Facebook. We are live. And of course, this won't be possible without the partnership that we have with Net Studio Africa, Melage Group, and Incredible Media. So I would like to go to you, Jude. How did you find yourself in the business of music video?
Yeah, I think in my case it was, how should I say? Did I say it's a calling in one way or the other? Because I never dreamt of doing music video. Yes, I did art at campus. That's true. But when I left school, I didn't even touch a computer at campus. That's the most, because I had this headache that comes with me. When I look into a computer, I cry, my eyes, I had a problem with my eyes and the headache. So, but coming to the field, I do a logo. Then the guy tells me I need a soft copy of the logo. Now that was the problem. I take it to NASA, the logo doesn't come. The guy tells me, do you know what? This is not the logo you drew. On paper, it is nice. On the computer, it is wrong. So I was like, now, what is this thing called a computer? I was forced to go buy a small Pentium 1, take it home, learn Photoshop, learn CorelDRAW. Now, in the process of learning CorelDRAW, I started watching a lot of songs, movies. Then I had a friend called Walter, who's called Walter Chitanda. He used to do these things of graphics and all that. I was like, what is that program? He says, it's called Premiere Pro. So I tell him, put it on my computer. He puts Premiere Pro on my computer. Then I'm like, how do you start it? Walter didn't tell me how they start Premiere Pro. It took me 2 months to know how, because there was no YouTube by then. You can't. So it took me 2 months. Then when I opened when I opened Premiere Pro, I started with a song by Snoop Dogg. I put it there. I learned how to cut the video. Then it became so interesting that I started mixing other people's videos, not my own. Then from there, I think my first time to touch a camera, I had started doing those silly videos, showing them to my friend. Then I had a teacher. He was my teacher in secondary. He comes, he tells me, do you know what? I've started doing music. But I've seen your videos. Can you do a music video for me? I'm like, I don't do music videos. I don't know camera. He says, I'll teach you how to use the camera. All I want is your art. You're an artist. So this guy comes with a small camera. I can't even, was it a JVC? This very small once.
The one for the tapes?
Yes, the one for the tapes. Very tiny.
Yeah.
He takes me to Chwamirembe.
Yeah.
He tells me now, that's the tripod. Here's the on button, here's the off button. What you have to do is record, put your art, then when you take home, I'll show you. Then after shooting, he takes me to town. He tells me this is the firewire cable. They join it here, you get data, you get the footage from the tape, you put it, then I took that footage on a CD. So I started with that CD, the footage on the CD with my Pentium 1, put that project into Premiere Pro. It took me something like 3 months to produce that music video because it was all self-teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
Then from there,
you're
started
learning from the project itself.
Then I did something like 3 projects.
Yeah.
And the third one, it was really trial and error because I was into business. I was in some other business. It was a hobby. It was more or less of a hobby. Then on my third project, it was called, the guy called Romano, the project shoot to East Africa because East Africa was the big thing by then.
Yeah.
And it also went up to the top 20. I was like, I think this makes sense. Then when that project shot there, I think Kim XP saw it somewhere. Then Kim XP calls me, tells me, do you know what? You're a young man. I think I can use your knowledge, but you're not going to the field. All I want you to do is edit for me. And I told him, do you know what? I edit from my own computer. Remember, I have a Pentium 1. So he gives me the footage on a hard drive. I take it on my edit, I bring to him. He tells me, don't grade. Your grades are good, but that's not my touch. Did some projects for him, like 5-4. Then there comes another guy, he's called Patrick. He was the owner of Snapshot.
Yeah.
Patrick tells me, they've told me you're good.
Patrick.
You're good into video. I'm like, it's my hobby. I don't do it as a business. He's like, aren't I to do business? I'm like, which kind of business? You work for me, I bring the clients, we share the money. I'm like, if there is money, then no problem. So he tells me, I have a project, have an artist called Coco Finger. By then, Coco Finger had Mikono Wagulu. It was a murder hit. I'm like, you're talking about Coco Finger? He's like, yes. Okay, let's go meet him. We come to Match India, talk to the guy. The guy gives me the song. He tells me, go think about it. So I was good in scripting, of course, because of the art background. So I do the script for my miss. By then, Webajia was new, that Webajia hotel. We go to Webajia, we shoot that project. They brought me a camera. I didn't know how to use it. It was my first time to see the DVX.
Actually, I was on that set.
Yes.
I was on that set. That was the
they
first
brought
time
a
I met
camera. I'm like, now what is this kind of? I've never seen it in my entire life. I'm like, but I have to do this. It's a do or die. So it was a big crew. I had a number of friends around. So I shot that video. Then, luckily enough, when the video came out, it was one of the super videos. So it was my starting project. In the same year, I think I did one for Rabadaba. I did Asisirubala Rabadaba. That one also went crazy. So it was that journey. Then I rolled over from Snapshot. Then when I started Rosa Uganda with Biro Wars, I think. So that was the journey.
Yeah.
But it was all, I don't know, I think it was all self-made.
So how do you paint a picture of like the industry now and the industry back in the days? I mean, those days we could just record on tapes, then capture, which meant that if you shot a tape for 1 hour, you'll have to capture it for 1 hour.
Exactly.
So when you look at the technology that we have today and back then in the days, what do you have to say about the current situation?
I think everything is good now. Because you wake up, you want to become a video director, you go on YouTube, you learn how to use a camera, even if you have not yet touched it. Me, I learned how to use a Red camera via YouTube. The first time I got hold of a Red camera, I knew how to use it, how to put it all together using YouTube. So it is a different era now. You can learn everything online. You can do anything you want using the online, and the tutorials are free. So there is a big difference between us who didn't even have, like I told you, I shot my miss, they brought a camera that I hadn't even seen in my life. Do you know it existed?
Yeah, actually it was very trendy. It was a Panasonic DVX.
It was a Panasonic DVX.
Yes.
And the thing I liked about it, mainly on that shoot, was it could move fast.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time someone created a video with those fast shots. I did it. I think people were saying, that would be fast. I was like, let's use this thing. Why is it on this camera? So it is something else. But now when this new generation has an advantage, everything is online, which we didn't have. And this new generation, the technology is high. Back then, the lights we're having here, they're all cool lights.
Yeah.
Back then, now we would be sweating.
It's true.
You understand?
Yeah,
you
you
have
would
a
actually
yellow
burn
tungsten, deep yellow tungsten. You have to know how to white balance. Everything was too much.
You had to use a paper to white balance.
Now, these new cameras, some are even automatic. You put it there, it does the white balancing for you.
Yeah.
The programs you're using now, it's easy to do white balancing within the program. Back then, if you didn't white balance on the camera, you're gone. It is dead, it is all dead. So there is a lot. This is a new era. This era is totally way different. There is no hard work here. We did the hard work back then.
Back in the days. Yes. So back to you, Mehdi. You're one of the guy back in the days who had mastered that camera called a Panasonic DVX. And almost whoever was into the music video will tell you, you want to set that camera right, go to Mehdi Maize, go to Mehdi Maize. So back in the days, you managed to produce amazing work without even these gears that we have today. And so many things have changed back then. What do you have to say are some of the barriers that you faced during that time when you're starting up?
Actually, based on the camera settings, there's a shoot, it was for Dedak. He was filming Ngoni, a certain song, and I was a friend to the ADs, so I used to come along when they're shooting, from way back from Nasimagwe.
Yeah.
So there's a shoot, it was at Lugogo, rugby club somewhere there. The song was called Onzita. So that day I was present, and I was like a grip. I was helping out Don. Don had his crew, but I just came and forced myself amongst the helpers because I wanted to learn something. And on that set, I managed to get a piece of paper that had certain camera settings Don had written down on a paper. Because you know that Panasonic DVX, the 102, it had certain settings, it had, gamma settings, it had what?
The color pads.
Color pads, things like that. So he had written them down on a paper, piece of paper. So when he gave it to me, maybe he thought I was one of his boys, he gave me the paper, I held it. So after the set, everyone was like moving away. So I looked at this piece of paper, what is this I'm looking at? Then later on, I didn't know exactly what I'm looking at, but I knew the camera was good. I didn't know these were camera settings. So after knowing where Dedak got the camera from, because he got it from Al Images, this is Isaac. Some guy called Isaac was the first owner of the Panasonic DVX. So I contacted Isaac. I'm like, I must use that camera. It's good. I saw its picture. So he said, no, it's okay. For me, I hire out cameras for what? For shoot. So one day I go pick the camera. Then I look through the settings. When I look through the settings, I saw these familiar words, master paid, what. I was like, I think I have a piece of paper that has certain settings. So when I went back into my trousers, my pockets, I picked that piece of paper. It had the master paid, the settings Dedak had used. So I was like, okay, for now, if this guy is the best, I think his settings are right. So I crammed those settings. In the beginning, I just crammed them. So I started, I produced some videos, and Bashir Badi, called me one day. He was like, I was told you know how to use this camera. I have a shoot, Blue 3 and A Good Life. You come and help me out. So that's how I got onto that project where you are. We went, I put in my settings the way, and we had a very beautiful image. And it was one of the first Ugandan music videos to play on MTV Base. By then, back in the days, because of the image. And remember, Dedak had several videos on MTV Base. He had done Mulete, he had done
so
for
many
Peter
videos.
Miles, and they had they had a very sweet image. So everyone was like, no, I have to go to Dedak. So that's how I managed to jump into the market. And people were like, no, you want a certain image, you go to Mehdi. You want certain camera settings, call Mehdi. So I did the same for Jalive, actually.
Wow.
This song of Rabadaba, is it Musambu Chitundu? It was almost the same thing. I came on set and set the camera for them, and I let Nicole do the rest of the work. But back in the days, it was a lot of hard work. You had to white balance. You had to set the camera right. You had to, okay, it was almost autofocus. Those cameras were more of autofocus.
Because you could not change the lenses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but comparing then, back in the days and now, things have really changed because today things are more automated. More automated. Anyone can come into the market and come up with a very good image, which was very difficult back in the days because we used to use hard reflectors. The cameras had very poor dynamic range.
Yeah.
So if there's a lot of sunlight, you'd hardly get a good picture. So we used to use very, very hard reflectors to counterbalance the sun. So that maybe probably you get an image which doesn't have a lot of contrast. So it was a lot of hard work. These days you can go on set, you can shoot a scene without even reflectors.
Yes, true.
And everything looks good, which was very hard then. So there's a very big transformation, and like Jude said, there's a lot of YouTube right now. If you need to use a Sony and you never held it, it takes you just 30 minutes, and at least you know where to get everything. So life is becoming easier. Yes.
So are there any other challenges that you have faced in the industry as you were starting out? What are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Challenges first in this industry, first and foremost, it's something to do with budgets.
Yeah.
That is way back where we started from up to now. Yeah. We have a challenge whereby our clients, the budgets, they don't tally with what they want.
Yeah.
You understand? Their expectation and the budgets, there's a very big contrast. You see? Someone comes up with a P-Square video and is like, I want a video like this. Don't you see? They didn't waste a lot of time. It was simple, but based on what you know and what you're seeing, you don't see any simplicity. But someone will say, it is simple. We don't move around. We use one location. But at the end of the day, when you talk of the budgets, the budgets are way, way below than what they're expecting. So that is one of the biggest problems. Another problem is equipment. I, for one, I used to buy cameras right from the beginning. Like when the 5D came, 5D Mark II, I was one of the first owners in Kampala because I was obsessed with that DSLR. Yeah. So I owned the first. It was about the second because Max had the first one. Yeah. Then I owned the second. When a Blackmagic came out, I immediately went and bought two. You see? But every after 2 years, cameras were revolving and changing. So I reached a point and I was like, no, I've stopped buying cameras because I realized that I must have a budget for a camera every after 2 years. You see? That is a very, very big challenge. Technology is moving very fast. If you choose to invest, you have to choose wisely. Otherwise, you can buy something this year and next year you're planning to sell it off. And by the time you're planning to sell it off, it has lost value because there's something new.
But yet you spent a lot of money on it.
Yet you spent a lot of money. So at one point you realize that it doesn't make business sense to just go on buying every new thing that comes in. So that's why like the white production houses don't own equipment. They just go into rentals because they rent based on a project. We want this project, we want to use this camera. So they go for that camera. But now if you have your own camera, you will not pick the best camera for the job. You'll have to move in with your own camera because you don't want to spend.
Yeah, it's true.
So it also gives you a limitation. If you buy equipment, it gives you a limitation that you will not want to spend, even if you need a better camera for a certain job, you will go and use what you have. Yeah.
So Mehdi, I've seen you for quite a long time. Actually, you're one of the first Ugandans to make their own Jeep on location. I have to testify on this. For the first time in history, this gentleman here called Mehdi Maize, he was the first Ugandan to make his own Jeep and also make his own dolly. How were you able to come up with such ideas to be able to create the things that can mimic the shots that they do in Hollywood?
Okay, it all gets back to where I picked the interest from. Because my major inspiration was Dedak. Don Mugisha, it was my major inspiration. Again, on that set that I talked about, he had a Jeep. This Jeep was from Great Lakes, I don't know. There was a rental company. They had a Jeep, it was very heavy and a bit short. So while we were on set, I realized that he mounted a camera, and this camera was moving up and down just like this. So I was amused. I was like, why doesn't this camera go like this? Yeah? Because it was on a jib, and when he moved up, it remained like horizontal.
Yeah.
Throughout the set, I was looking at this mechanism. I was like, why doesn't this thing point up and down? You see?
Yeah.
So when I went back in the days, we had UTL internet.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had a friend who was so much interested in IT, so he introduced me to internet. Then I went online and tried to find out a jib, because when on set he was calling it a jib. Hey, mulete jib. So I went and found out a jib. Then being a very crafty person, I was like, okay, now this thing, I need it in my career, but where am I going to buy it? Because even in Kampala, we didn't have any shop that has something of the sort. I was like, but I think I can do this thing. This thing doesn't have any batteries. It doesn't have any circuit board. It doesn't have any the so-called ICs. Then I was like, if it doesn't have those complicated things, it must be just physics. So that was my inspiration. I went online. I realized that the physics of making that camera remain horizontal was very simple.
Yeah.
Then after understanding the physics, I went to a hardware, bought some pieces of metal. I went to some guy who was welding. So I gave him direction. I was like, okay, you cut here, burn this, cut here, join this, join this, join this. Finally, I came up with a jib. So I used that jib on a certain project. Where
What are some of the projects that you did?
I used it on a certain project where Badi came, Bashir, he came and saw it and was like, hey, this thing is nice. And by that time, there's this gentleman who also had a jib. He's called Bat Kakoza. Yes, he had a professional jib, pro with the moving head. So Bashir had used Kakoza's jib.
Yeah.
It was very pro and very nice. So he was interested in this Juakali version because it was a bit longer.
Yeah.
So when we were going, he was going to do Where You Are. I mean, because I was part of this, I was the DOP of the project.
Yeah.
He said, like, you carry on your jib. We need to use it for those aerial shots because the set had a lot of sugar cane and what, and he wanted to see the horizon. So that's how we managed to use it for those projects. Where You Are.
Yeah.
Then I used that same jib for which other video?
Badilisha.
But I used the same jib for Badilisha.
With Chameleon.
Yes, with Chameleon.
Yeah.
Yes, I used the same jib with Badilisha. Then which other song? Actually, most of the songs I did then.
Yeah.
Because I had an obsession. And later on, people picked interest in those moving aerial shots. Because by then, we didn't have the drones. We didn't have the drones. So if anyone wanted an aerial shot, the jib was the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we would like to take a look at some of the shots that you did with that jib that you made. Yeah. All right.
What does it take to change the world? It takes a long chain of resilient men and women, endowed with various skill sets and divergent mindsets, holistically working together to achieve a common goal. It is a synergetic effect of different art forms combining into one to think, design, and create mind-blowing stories. A systematic workflow and processes from department to another. A set of professional tools and elements designed to create and fine-tune. It takes persistence, consistency, and collaboration to tell compelling stories, to evoke emotions, and to change the world. We have designed a one-stopover center online with all the seasoned creatives from all the realms of the film industry. Together, we can. We are the Film Hackers.
advice to you, the creative, the talent, the person who's bursting with a lot of energy and art to give to the world. It's not easy. If you're expecting easy, then you better just sit at home.
It's an industry that involves a lot of dedication.
And then you have to be patient.
Respect time.
You're so lucky that lately there's a lot of platforms that you can use to better your game.
Keep on being consistent and keep pushing.
Think of that one thing that you really want to do. That one thing that gives you sleepless nights. Just jump for it.
It's all about what you want to do, what you feel like you really want to achieve in life, the ambition, the talent that you have.
If you're good at something, get better at it and don't let it rest until your better is best.
Work smart and embrace technology.
Authenticity and originality is important.
You'll always have the breakthrough point as long as you're persistent.
Love what you are doing.
And most importantly, be humble.
Dream, dare, and act.
Tukole nnyo research new okusobola okuba nga tukola firimu eziri ku mutindo.
Let's not tear ourselves apart, but simply build ourselves.
Film is collaboration from the person who makes the costumes to the last person who earns out of the movie.
And never stop being creative and innovative.
If there's someone you look up to, you should always try to follow the people that they follow.
Let's professionalize and let's have the different leagues working together. Let's have somebody who does the grips.
That way we shall be able to develop our industry and it will help with employing so many who are not employed.
But above all, you need to be ready to sacrifice.
And if you're weak, you want to try something, you want to test the waters, don't try creativity.
Welcome back to the show, and today we're discussing the pros and cons of the music video business in Uganda. On the panel today, I have Jude here, St. Jude. You always see names on music videos, St. Jude. Then we have Mehdi Menz from Milage Concept. And these guys have been in the industry for a very long period of time. So I would like you to paint a picture for the young person there who is so inspired by your work or by his work to enter into the industry. What is it like to enter into this industry? Because I've seen you work on videos like My Miss Coco Finger, which I happened to be there on the ground back in the days. I've seen you working on Nabulo. You've worked with all these artists. How is it to enter the business of music videos?
I think I should be honest. There is a difference.
Yeah.
The time we started and now.
Yeah.
Right now, what these young directors need to do is more of the creativity. Back then, even if you weren't creative enough, but you had the quality, it was about quality. Because achieving quality, like Mehdi said, we had cameras with very poor dynamic range.
Yeah.
We literally used everything. High 8, JV. These were small cameras. It was something else to what these guys. But here, it's easy to have the budget. Even a new director can use a RED in 3 months within the business, as long as he has the budget. But now the point is the creative part. So the music video business has gone to creativity now. It's no longer about quality.
Because everyone has quality.
Everyone can achieve quality now. Because if people use phones now to achieve quality, people are doing music videos with phones, the Samsungs, the iPhones. So you don't talk about quality now. You talk about creativity. So there is a big difference. Just like Mehdi said, back then, for us who started then, I didn't invest in the cameras. Because from the very word go, I knew cameras would be changing. But I was like, let me have my own lights, have my own this gear that has changed. But still, I lost it out. I remember going and seeing these 1,000 tube lights. I was like, these things, are very hot. How can I bring them down? So I went to Tamale by then, bought a softbox, this softbox for photography. Then went to Chisenyi, got a welder. We built a light of 1,000 watts in a softbox. So people could see me going with softboxes on set, but inside with 1,000 lights. So my lights used to be cool, because the softbox could cool all the heat, and the artist could not sweat. Then the other option was to get the 1,000 watts and point it into an umbrella, still those photograph umbrellas. So I used to get these 1,000 lights, find a hinge, it was more of a hinge, then point it up. So it was a lot of creativity trying to survive. Me, my first reflector was an iron sheet. Do you know how hard it is?
Yeah, it is
very hot. I was like, I need to reflect backlight. I took an iron sheet on set. The guy was almost dead. He used to it was an iron sheet, real iron sheet, a new one.
Actually, personally, I used the mirror. I used the mirror. I went on a set. I had a set whereby I needed a very wide shot. At the same time, I needed the artist to be lit. And there was no way I could move close to have reflectors. So I went with the big mirror on set. So it was evening. We had this sun coming from this side, about, almost setting. So the rays could come, bounce into a mirror, and then bounce back to the artist.
And you could see their eyes squinting all the time.
Yes, but the most interesting thing is that by then even the artists were involved. They used to take part. They were like, reflector sijuli. You see, they used to take part because they knew the impact of having that bounce on their image. Most of them knew, and they wanted that look, which is, they wanted a sharp look. So they used to also complain, reflector sijuli.
And back then we didn't have all these fancy lights that we have.
I had a friend, he's called Mude, I remember. He one time told me, you know what, Jude, now we shouldn't use these iron sheets, they're hot. Let's use water. There is a set we took, we went with a Benson, all we wanted was a reflection. So it was hard. And the day I found about these reflectors, these aluminum foils, the ones they sell in supermarkets for food, it was like I'd found gold. I remember going to the supermarket, seeing an aluminum foil, I was, what is this? Can this work? Trying it out, I was like, this is pure gold now. So it's been a revolution for us. But now here's a situation where you go to William Street or Wilson Road, you buy an already made reflector, gold or silver, it's there. You have your camera, you can have any camera. Now, like, look at the Pocket 6K. You're shooting 6K, any small camera. You look at the Alpha. So literally everything now is good. So the things about the business now change. It's no longer about who has quality. It is about how creative you can go. So they are facing a challenge of being creative.
So by being creative, you mean the storytelling?
That is what I'm talking about. How do you tell your stories? Do you have a uniqueness on your videos? Do you have something that attaches videos to you? Like if you see Mehdi Man's video, you're like, even if you don't see them, you're like, I think that should be Mehdi. You need to have an identity as a director.
That signature
style.
You
understand? And most of the top directors now, look, if I'm not mistaken, people can tell that that is a Sasha Vibes video, a Saint Jude video, a Mehdi video, a Norton video, a Jalai video. That signature is key. Now, the problem with the young directors is failing to have a signature. It's just like artists. You need to have a signature to your music. So creating a signature now is key, more than then. Now, some of us are lucky we created our signatures back
in the days.
Back in the days. So the new business now is have a signature. Just like outside directors, you will say signature for Director X. I think I fell in love with Director X because he's the first person to go with the greens. Turning the blacks, shading blacks to greens. I think it was the one who introduced. So I fell in for that. So if you see my old videos, they're all falling into, because I was following somebody who had a signature on his videos. Look at Colin Tilley. He has a signature to his videos. Even if it's new, you feel like, I think that should be Tilley. Now, it is key now to have a signature to your work. Yes.
Okay. To add on that, we're having a challenge currently. Okay, we normally learn from what we see.
It's true.
We learn from what we see. For example, if I work with a boy for for about 4 years. This boy is in position to almost produce
Mimic
what I do, because he's been around me. He knows he knows almost the formula and the format. So when he's to produce that piece of work, it will bend more
towards your side.
Yes. So that is a problem currently, and most young directors are facing that. They do something and they want to do like so and so. Whereas when you're running a project or doing a project, each project has professionally. Each project has its touch.
Yeah, it's true.
Its touch. So if someone crammed a certain color scheme, maybe a certain color grade from you, maybe this color grade maybe was supposed to mimic something or depict
a certain mood.
A certain mood. So this person is going to go away with that, and is going to use that in all his projects.
In all his projects.
Because they think that's the right thing to do. You see, rather than understanding the concept. Why am I having warmer tones in this project? I should have a reason behind it. So that's where the younger generation or the new directors should focus on. Why should I shed this? Let me not shed this because so and so shaded this. I must have a reason. I must support, my color must support my story. Rather than just pasting it everywhere. You find someone has the same grade everywhere because that's what they crammed. So that's one of the other challenges. The directors have to go deep into why am I using this?
Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Because we basically know every color has a psychological impact on someone's brain.
Now, the problem to that, again, that I've seen, it's, I think, we're in a situation where now this industry, I think some of us are lucky, we came to this industry as a hobby. Most of my generation. They didn't enter this industry mainly to, money got us there. Now here we have a team of boys who look at it as it is really business. Now all they care about is if I can hold of a good camera, know how to use a computer, have a clean image, I'm good to go. They are forgetting the other part that keeps in the industry, the creative part and the signature part. That's why the work is really good. 3 projects out, you don't see them on screen. Then you are there seated, you'll see Emedy Men's video of 2012. A St. Jude video of 2013. You're like, why are they playing these old videos instead of new videos from these young boys? But the signature thing now is doing the impact. You can't get there without seeing Sasha Vibes, Emedy Men's, Jalive, Jude. It is inevitable in this country.
Like you can't escape
for a
those
TV
names.
to close down without those videos being played.
It's practically impossible.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Because you've been there for a long period of time.
It's not that.
And you've done great work.
It is the signature. Do you understand? It is it's just like going with your video. Who has done that video? You say, it's St. Jude, it's Medis, take out.
Because they
so
know
even
exactly.
if the video has quality, the director, Tana Zimba signature, that's the key point that I'm asking them to do. Build a brand upon your work. Build something upon your work that they believe in your name. They believe in you. That means they'll have to look for your video of 2012 and play it if they have nothing to play today.
So today, we're seeing so many young people going into the music video business, and there's so many of them right there. And ever since we started this conversation, we've been talking about like cameras and lights and everything. So I want to start with you, Mehdi. What does it take to produce a good video? Is it the camera? Is it the lighting? What does it take? For a young person who is just getting into this industry, they would like to know, the people that are watching us, what does it take to make a good video?
First, I think you have to plan. To plan and try to evaluate all the steps of production. You try to evaluate all the steps, from the pre-production, equipment, script, makeup, dress code, everything. So if all these steps are worked on properly, it's more likely you're going to have a good piece of work. If you have a very good script for the song, you have, when it comes to costumes, you have the proper costumes. When it comes to makeup, you do the right makeup. All those contribute to having a very good video. So unfortunately, because of the budgets and some of these steps are skipped.
Yeah.
Some of them are even skipped deliberately.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes. There are certain sets a director will go and afford based on his budget.
Yeah.
It's like
Based on his budget is like sente za matara tufune etala limu. Where he needs 3, he's going to use 1 light.
Yeah.
He's doing it deliberately. He knows the right thing
to do.
But because
he doesn't
of
have the money to do it.
Because of the budget.
The
He's
budget.
like, no, this will work for me.
Yeah.
You see? If we skip these steps of production, at the end of the day, when you have your piece out, people will say, okay, nice concept, but the lighting is not proper.
Yes.
You see? Nice concept, but the costume is wrong. Why? Because you skipped that part during your planning. You understand? Then the other thing is mainly the script.
Yeah.
Because the script can guide you to avoid repeating yourself. You understand?
Yeah.
To avoid repeating yourself.
Yeah.
So if I have a script for project A,
Yeah.
I would love to make it different from script from project B.
Yeah.
Then the script will help me identify what locations do I need.
Yes.
I'm going to go for the unique location that is suiting the script.
Yeah.
You understand?
I understand.
It will help me do several videos that don't look the same.
Yeah.
Because the nature of locations are different. If I want glam, I'll go for the glam. If I want to go too local, I'll go for a too local.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes, for example, I'll give an example. An artist could have a song which could best be perceived by the audience when it has a local concept.
Yeah.
But the artist will come in and say, no, I want a video, I want a flashy video, I want cars, I want this. You see, sometimes people get it wrong from the beginning. You see?
Yeah.
Instead of going for what suits the song best. Even if you have a lot of money, you can do a cheaper video. This cheaper video can suit the song better than a video you've spent money. You spent
a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's about the concept. Do you get the concept right?
Yeah.
You see?
So
I also send the message to the songwriters. Sometimes the songwriters make the way they write songs in a way that is really confusing. The first verse singing about love, the second verse singing about money, the third verse singing about things which are disjointed. So when you're making a script, you're also confused. You're like, now how should I approach this? So you end up saying, kamba kube mu warehouse. You see? Because it's so confusing, you just put them in the warehouse and you bring the money, you bring the girls because that's what you're singing about. So you just punch them together. Without a story driving the song. So the songwriters should revise the way they're writing these songs. Let them write songs that tell stories, songs that have an impact. Or have an impact. So that when I'm making a video, I want to make a video that really maps this song, and when it goes out there, it really creates an impact. Sometimes someone can tell you, you did a very good video for this song, such and such a song, but the genesis of that good video is the songwriter. You see?
So Mehdi, what you're basically saying that for you to be able to make a good video, it's a process. And it starts with a story that you're trying to tell.
Exactly.
Right there. We're going to take a short break, and we come back, we're going to have to hear what Shesha Vibe has to say about this whole topic.
I'm called Ian Akankwasa, aka Sasha Vibes. I'm a filmmaker. When I was starting this, to me, it was never about the money, really. It's all about the passion. It's all about the art, protecting the art, and seeing that the film industry and the music video industry goes on. So to me, I wake up every morning able to create and ready to create because I feel like that's what I really love to do. See, like 4 or 5 years ago, we literally had no equipment. It was so tough to tell most of these stories because now we have drone shots. There never used to be drones in Uganda. Drones now are something that is not allowed, that is being banned in the country. So you can't be seen shooting with drones. So I mean that kind of takes us backwards in the game. There's too much piracy going on in the industry. So I'm speaking on the side of filmmakers. If you make a movie and you're expecting to make money of you know, doing shows or CDs and stuff, and then you find the movie has already been pirated. So I think that has also been, you know, kind of a big setback in the industry. We need the government to be involved in this whole thing, because at the end of the day, if we're not being given a hand, you know, we're not gonna come up. It is actually a very, very wide, you know, industry, because there's so many things involved. I mean, you have producers, you have location managers, you have script writers, you have DOPs, you have makeup artists, you have people who have, you know, gaffers, you have spark. Like it's a big industry that most people actually don't even know. There's so many opportunities that are there that actually can, you know, save people from the unemployment. So definitely changes everything. We need to tell our stories the African way. So if it is getting the whole support that we need, it has to be from you guys. Me, what I tell the young guys also trying to come up is that follow what you love and do what you love. And at the end of the day, you will definitely achieve greatly.
My name is Alex.
Yeah. Yeah. So Shasha Vibes, for those of you who don't know Shasha Vibes is called Ian Akankwasa, aka Shasha Vibes. So Shasha, you've been in the industry for quite a long time. I remember seeing you back in the days. How were you able to join the film industry or to join the music video business, and why?
I think pretty much for every filmmaker, it starts with the curiosity, the passion. You always want to create. To me, to be honest, I always saw these movies, but my questions were like, how do they make this? You know? So I was very intrigued, I was very curious. I wanted to see and know the knowledge behind. So I think I remember when I finished my Form 6, left my village, came to Kampala. I had a friend who had a photo studio, so I told him, yo, I really want to learn how they take pictures. So I started as a photographer before I even thought about music videos. That wasn't my direction anyway by then. So I started doing photography, learned from the studio for like 3 years. I joined Tendo, and I remember, I think from there, my first music video, well, it was a bit, well, I wouldn't want to discuss that, but the second video that I think, because
we really want that process of
the first one, now, the official first one,
one of the first video that you showed.
The official first one was with Maro, I remember. Because I was working for Globetech, and that's the first time HD videos or cameras were now coming out, the Canons, you know, so people had no idea. So I remember I stole a camera from my boss, that's Mr. Tendo. That day I was doing a wedding the previous day, so I'd planned on Sunday with Maro to shoot a music video. So I told him, I have the camera ready, he was excited. I think at that time he paid me pennies, it was around 800,000 Uganda shillings. So after the wedding, I slept with the camera that day. Then the next morning, I bought a taxi with a few rails, you know those traditional rails we make here in Katwe. Put them in a taxi, then went to Zambia to shoot the video. I think the video was called Be Well. So I was on set, but it was just actually very weird how I was in charge, because that was my first official video production, but I was in charge. I remember we shot the video, everything was, I had the script on my head, okay, I had written it down, but everything was moving so smoothly that I was like, oh, I'm actually a natural, I can actually do this. So from there and then, I never looked back. Jobs started coming in, they let Mr. X, Gift of Cardo, Maya Baganda, and boom. Shasha Vibes was born.
Shasha Vibes was born. So from your first video, how did you turn from that point of your first video back in the days, you just transforming from a photographer then to a music video producer? How was the journey like? How did you move from that step to where you are now?
Actually, most people forget, or they never think that to be a good cinematographer, you have to have a photography background.
100% true.
Because I did weddings. I was doing weddings almost like every day, every weekend. The weather is changing. It's, the sun is coming out. So you're changing settings on your phone, playing with aperture and all that stuff. So to me, that gave me, it nurtured me. You know, the experience. When you put that together, the transition from photography to actually filmmaking was just smooth. And boom. And mine is actually even before I went to film school. And the thing I like about Ugandans, most of them actually, I'll say Africans, we learn on the job. It's the best thing everybody in Africa actually does. This is before I even went to film school. And from there, smooth transition, I started shooting music videos and then boom, boom. I never looked back.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced towards your journey of producing music videos?
Of course, first time when you're trying to produce music videos, we all want to have big artists and our productions. You hit them up, you're like, hey, I have a video offer for you, and they're like, no, we don't know you. Come on. And, that's a challenge.
Have you been rejected before?
Yes, I've been rejected, but I won't mention names. I don't want to be in trouble. But yes, I've been rejected so many times.
I think every director has been in the very beginning.
Like you call an artist and say, like, I want to drop you a free video. And
me personally, I was on, there was a Buzz show at Lugogo there. Bobi Wine came and Nubian Lee. Those days they had a song called Ghetto, and it was hitting. They had shot a video. So I tapped Nubian down, like, man, I can make for a video. Nubian didn't know me. He didn't know me. I felt like I wanted a big artist. So I thought when I talked to Nubian, they would convince the other artist, Bobi Wine, so that I shoot for them Ghetto. Because the song was booming and it didn't have a video by then. So what he's talking about is right. You always want a big artist on your name, and these people don't believe in you because they are already brand. I mean,
the big brands out there.
Exactly.
And they don't want to test out on you.
They don't want to take chances.
They don't want to take chances. So Shasha, you were still telling us.
I think pretty much it's just all about being confident. For any videographer, when you get on set, that's your house, that's your command center. The moment you're on set, for you to now having that whole command and standing out, I think it's very important. And I think that from when I shot a video for Maro, and I was able to command that whole set, it resounds, So of course, definitely Maro recommended me to this artist, this one recommended this artist, and then slowly by slowly, just a smooth transition, and then I was in a video game. And that's even before I went to study.
There is something that Sasha has talked about the command. And, it's something that I've always been telling young directors. If you can't command your set, you'll never succeed.
Definitely.
Remember, when you're a director and you get on set, no matter how big the artist is, that house now belongs to you. You are the father. So it's you tell him, do this. I don't like that. Don't do this. Now, the problem that these young directors get is they get on set and now they're asking their bosses or their artists what to do. You have the script, you're running the set, and then you're like, kati boss, boss, that is where things go wrong. When he's your boss outside the set. When they're on set, just like we are here now, we have no say. He's director, but we have to listen to whoever what you're telling us and what the other crew is telling us. So it's for every director there. The one thing you should learn when you get on set, take over that set, and that will take you places.
Actually, one of the disadvantages of command, because we directors we always write the show. You see, it puts us in a position whereby we are hardly flexible. You understand? We're hardly flexible because most of the times when you're working, you're the one who says, put that light there. Let's move here. Let's pack up. Let's do this. So when you're collaborating with other people who are not in your industry, who are not in music, There's a way you feel like you're being dragged. Someone is telling you 10, and for you always say, no, I'll go at 11. So it is a big challenge. So you have to draw a balance. You know, okay, fine, I always run the show, but sometimes
you run the show on your own set. That's what I was telling you. When you get on set, let people be bosses outside the set. But when you get on set, like Sasha said, that he got his confidence. When he got on set and did that, he was like, yes, now this is the starting point. Now, my point is, when you get on set, put everything aside. Command that set. After the set, go back to you.
Being you.
Being who you are.
Being
but on
flexible,
set, take over that set.
But do you normally go back to you?
Me, yes. I always go back to me. Like me, and that's the difference about, and now this is the difference about all the big directors. I think why they've been able to succeed all these years. If you don't go back to yourself, you won't be able to work with people.
Yes, you won't be able to.
They won't come back to you because they'll feel like like ateka munyona akamanyira amanyira. But yet when you're on set and you command them, they're okay. But after that, you're like, yes, my boss, what can I do? That is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that go bossy even outside your working zone. Just be the boss in your working zone. After that, be the you that you're supposed to be. Be humble, be thankful, be loyal. It's just that.
Just maybe to add on that, see, most people forget that it's a lot of work being a director. I mean, you have months and months of planning. There's so much at stake. The money, maybe the client has put you on pressure. You as a director, that responsibility, when you get on set, and most people say directors are arrogant, but it's not about that. See, you're a human being. When you get on set, there's so much going on.
There's
Emotions,
so much pressure.
You're thinking about things going down the drain. All that stuff is actually in your mind. And most especially when you're working with so much money. So it's a lot.
And
so directors are not arrogant. Even if they put you in that place, whoever's watching out there, trust me, you even be worse. Because I don't know. I don't know what you would be. But
And there's something
it's pretty intense.
Yeah, so it's tension. Time.
Someone has given you 20 million, and you have to prove that the worth of 20 million in 12 hours. So if you don't go hard on them,